He doesn't have any Artha around him. He has no wealth. He hasn't figured out his own life yet. So the relationship really failed. Don't have a purpose, never going to have any Veerya, you're not going to function as a warrior. A man should have the attention span to be focused on one thing for an hour or 2 hours. You don't see men like that today, losing focus every few minutes. So Veerya Labha is an active process. It's not just saving a semen, it's channeling it upwards to start feeling more and more thunder in our body. Whenever you need to do a task, invoke your Veerya. Get that task done, drop back into the Moola.
So, how did you start your yogic journey then? Like, when was the time that you started your yogic?
Through a lot of contemplation, through a lot of because we got a lot of time in college. You have a lot of freedom once you're living in the hostel. You're away from your parents, and you're able to explore everything freely. So I got a lot of time. I used it well instead of wasting it away on bad habits. I picked up books. I read a lot. I connect a lot with nature. I began to connect really deeply with nature, where I would go and sit, outside with the trees for a really long time. And so I felt like I had begun meditating, even though I had no idea what meditation is. And later on, when I learned about meditation at the age of 22, I did a Vipassana program, which is a meditation course for 10 days, where you, for 10 hours a day, you're meditating and you're not talking to anyone and you have to be with yourself. So those 10 days helped me learn about meditation, but I'd been doing that before, even before I knew what meditation is. So that came naturally to me. I feel like because of contemplating about the world, having a scientific frame of mind, I could still go very deep into it. Even though I was really scientifically minded, I was very spiritual because I would think about the universe and wonder, where did all this come from? And even from a scientific point of view, if you go further and further, breaking down everything into atoms and molecules and energy fields and quantum fields, in the end, it ends at nothing, which for us in Shiva. So I was very much spiritual, even from a scientific frame of mind. Even though I was atheistic, I was still very spiritual. I think it came naturally to me. It didn't take any kind of awakening. People want a story these days. Everyone wants a story. Oh, this man had some awakening at the age of 21. He went to the top of Chamundi Hill and it wasn't like that for me. It was very natural. It was very gradual, and no awakening. It was just simple, clear mindedness. That's what it was.
I think the process is very like different for different people. For some people, it's very like gradual and slow process, and it happens in a stretched period of time. And like for some people, it's different, but it's the same. I mean, outcome is still the same.
Yeah, yeah.
Is there? And can we talk a little bit about your relationships? Learning, like, have you have been in some relationships?
Yes, I can speak honestly about my relationships. I've had uh, two relationships. Each of them lasted a few years, and both the relationships were very hard on me, very tough relationships. I think I began my first really serious relationship at age of 23 or 24, because you know how young men are, right? I was a young man. I'd begun earning, so I was fairly well off with my job, and had been meditating a lot before that. And I realized I'm pushing myself too much into meditation. My ego is telling me that you need to keep meditating and find some kind of enlightenment. That's what happens when people read a lot of books on the Buddha and all that. And so I'd been pushing myself hard. I used to meditate for hours. I would go away to a village far away, be there for 10 days, find a farm, sit on the farm for 4 or 5 hours, no toilet breaks, nothing, just sit under the tree, meditating. And it allowed me to go really deep in my head. I was able to observe my mind, but I also noticed I'm avoiding sexual pleasure. I'm forcing myself to avoid it. My ego is telling me, in order to seek some kind of enlightenment, you need to avoid sexual pleasure. And I was noticing that it's creating unhealthy feelings in me. I'm repressing all that inside, and it's just waiting to explode. So I decided not to do this. This is not healthy. Chasing some kind of awakening is your ego playing. It's not natural. It's not real. So I said, okay, let me be more real. I'll be honest about the fact that I do seek sexual pleasure. So so I found someone, and we were in a relationship for a few years. At the same time, we hadn't established our own lives. So it happened quite early. We weren't ready for the relationship. So it failed. Neither was she ready, nor was I ready. We weren't grown up, you know. This is what happens when you live in the cities, when Thames Nadi affects you. You think everything will work out, but your dharma artha hasn't been established, and the relationship fails. So yeah, I failed, and I wasn't a man at the age of 23. I was a guy. Sure, I was earning a lot of money, and everything was comfortable, but I didn't have the mindset of a man. I didn't have this stability inside. Emotionally, I was very weak. Uh, Even though I would still call myself better off than most guys at that age, still, uh, I wasn't able to be this pillar of support for the girl I was with. I took care of her. I was like, someone who took care of her, because I still had the image of Ram and Sita,
Hmm.
but I wasn't strong enough to be that pillar of support for her, because I felt like I need support more than being able to provide. Every young guy wants to be supported, because you start living away from your mother. And up till then, your mother has been supporting you. Now you're off on your own. So it takes a while for guys to get tough. And I was not a man. That's why the relationship failed. Uh, I was looking for support rather than providing it. A man provides support. He's not looking for support. I was looking for support. And so my relationship failed. Um, and then sometime after that, I met another person, and um, this person that I met uh, is the one who I see as Shakti in my life, right? So I'll talk about it really honestly, and she told me that she sees me as the Shiva in her life, and but we still uh, took it on too early. I had left my job when I met her. I had begun on this path of yoga, so I hadn't established any dharma and artha. I had no wealth. Uh, I was just a guy trying to find a way in this field of yoga, trying to find what am I supposed to do in this world. I want to do something useful. I don't want to work in a desk job, because that's just contributing to the downfall of the world. I'm not going to do it. I left my job. However, I had no plan in mind. I had nothing. And at that point, I met her. So, this is a lesson for everyone who's listening, that without dharma and artha, without having established the wealth around your dharma, or having established your artha, even if you meet someone, uh, even if you meet your true life partner or someone you love, the relationship is not going to work. And it failed. We had a lot of conflicts, because she herself is a really strong woman. She supports her whole family. She was working and earning for the family by herself. And meanwhile, she met a guy who she really cares for, but he doesn't have any artha around him. He has no wealth, and he hasn't figured out his own life yet. So the relationship really failed. We had a lot of conflicts, a lot of struggle. Emotionally, we were burnt out. And in the end, she took that decision to, move away. And so we've been away after that. So for me, those two relationships taught me a lot. They taught me that I haven't been acting as a man. And right around that time, when my relationship with her ended, I found Guruji. It's almost like a calling when you have. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, like how you felt after you ended your relationship with the love.
Right. So when my relationship ended with this person who I still see as Shakti, uh, I've clearly admitted, I'm honest about this, that either I'm going to be with this person who I see as Shakti, or I'm going to just maybe I will have a relationship in the future, but it's not going to be as Shakti. I have found the Shakti of my life, and she will remain as it is. I might have relationships because I've been asked to move on by my guru. He said, you need to work on this, on your mind, you need to move on. However, uh, that relationship, if I have any in the future, will be uh, with that understanding that I've already given my heart away to someone else. However, all this aside, yes, when my relationship ended, I was in a very poor state emotionally, broken down. Felt like even though I was quite healthy physically, because I was doing a lot of yoga, I was teaching yoga. Mentally, I was broken down. And I felt like if I don't find someone to guide me now at this stage, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life. That's when Guruji arrived.
That's beautiful. But
Yeah.
it seemed like there was like a lot of confusion about the knowledge that we did not had then.
Mm,
Now that because of Guruji, we at least know there is a path called Dharma, Artha, Kam, Moksha. But that
mm,
time people are confused. Even
mm,
many people who are going maybe through the same
mm,
journey which you have already gone through are
mm.
facing the same issue as well. Everybody is confused.
Yes,
People
most men are facing this issue. You're right.
karmic titillation mostly, what I feel.
Yeah.
People read the body language, and if they find the person and they get that kind of feeling, which is mostly
Mm,
mental titillation, they
mm.
think it is love.
Yes, that's
And
what it is.
they try to play that around, which is nothing but karma that is trying to teach them a lesson in a bad way.
Yes, this karma teaches you the lessons. And what's happening is, look, all of this is happening because men are sexually aroused. They do not know how to channel all that sexual energy. They got a lot of bursting sexual urge, but they don't know how to channel it in the right way. They don't know how to channel it to create dharma, to create artha, to become really powerful using all that virya. And then the partner comes naturally. The partner is attracted to you rather than you chasing women. So that's what happened with me. That's what happens with most guys because we are not aware that we have virya, that we can channel it into dharma, artha, and then later find kama through a relationship. We are taught into believing that we need to chase the woman. We need to find a woman for our life. Uh, and all of this is because our sexual need hasn't been satisfied. Look, it's very simple. Guys haven't satisfied their sexual urge, and so they're trying to find a partner. That's all it is. So they're so titillated by society that even a decent man, even a man who doesn't think about uh, women that way, is still conditioned to chase women. That's what happened with me. And so you're caught in it. You're caught in that system where you have to find a woman. You're titillated all the time. Even if you're not seeking it, you will find it in society around you, all the walls, on wherever you go, on the phone. And so you are sort of helpless as a man. You can't help but get titillated.
Yeah.
And unless you have this real strength in you to build your virya and to stay away from all this, to realize the value of your virya, you're going to fall into that trap that I fell into. And I made a lot of mistakes. However, I learned and I've moved past all this now. So I want men to become like this now, to understand very early on what it means to be a man and not get caught in this.
Yeah, I think it's a very important lesson as a child also. If a young boy wants to learn how to handle his sexual energy,
Mm,
because you mentioned that when young boys they see something and their mind is getting feeded, they
mm,
get that titillation, but then they don't understand what it really is. So I
mm.
think there should be a real education being displayed about why that is happening, what
Yeah,
exactly the nature of that communication that body is giving to you through that
yeah, yeah,
visual impact that is having on the body, and
yeah.
how to channel that energy in a better way and use it in a better way as well.
Right. I think at the age of 16 or 18, instead of college, all guys need to be taught this first, how to be a man. They need to be given the lessons of Veerya, the lessons of what a brahmachari means, the lessons of how to behave as a man, which I teach in my program, what Guruji has taught me, what has allowed me to start acting more as a man now. Those lessons are taught in the Vidya challenge, and those are the lessons that should be taught to young men, especially not even young men, to all men today, because hardly any men know what it means to be with your masculine energy. So we need to teach that. Yes,
Yeah, I think this should be a part of sex education in schools. Definitely, I feel like
yes, yes. And more than sex education, this teaching of Veerya, how to be a man, has a lot to do with your energy. Because men are flying around in their head and behaving feminine. Because to look at everything at once, to have so many things in your mind is a feminine quality. They say women can multitask, men can't multitask. There's a reason they say that because uh, men need to be this pillar of support. Therefore, you're focused at one thing. You don't have things flying around in your head all the time because then you can't be stable. And guys, men today have become like that. So much conditioning, so much social media, instant gratification, and there's so much. So they don't have attention spans. A man should have the attention span to be focused on one thing for an hour or 2 hours. But you don't see men like that today, losing focus every few minutes. That's not a man. That's just a silly boy. And so we have to teach men to stop behaving this way, especially after they turn 18, to start understanding that no one's going to please you. Uh, uh, you're not going to be entertained. No one's going to praise you. You need to start being tough, get things done, and then you'll receive your praise, and create this life around you with all your Veerya, so that people are attracted to you rather than you chasing women like a, like someone who's so poor, so desperate. So yes, men need to be taught this. This is the most, I think, this is the most crucial issue of our time, for men to start being tough again.
That's a very important point that you mentioned, because I see that when you look into this tribal societies, which are still there, at least in small numbers,
Mm.
men, they are taught in a very different way. They are
Yeah,
actually going to natural forest. They are actually
yeah,
doing and killing a lion. They are
yes,
performing duties which are hardening their strength of the mind.
yes,
I've
yes,
seen there is some community where they have this competition between two adult men,
yeah.
kind of like the boys who are tall
Adolescence.
men, and it's like a test. Whoever wins is considered
Mm.
that now he has become a man. So it's a test
Yeah,
of his physical body, his mental stamina, his strength,
yeah,
as well
yeah,
as spiritual mindset.
yes,
Only then that person is then allowed
yes.
to even consider for marriage.
What
Otherwise,
what
he's
you're
always called
Yeah.
as a
What
boy.
what you're saying is that the tribal communities have this whole initiation, have a whole ritual that boys have to go through, after which they are classified as men, right?
Yes.
Yes, and that's what men need today. Our world has become so easy, so comfortable, that boys are allowed to continue their boyhood right till their 30s and 40s. In fact, most men today, even in their 40s, 50s,
At
are boys.
60s, men are just behaving as young boys again and again. They're
Yeah.
getting more and more young.
Yes, because they haven't been through any initiation. They haven't been given the lessons of, of being tough, of being a man. And yeah, I feel like the Veerya challenge is where they have to begin. The Veerya challenge has to become their ritual, from turning from a boy into a man.
That's true. And one more thing that I wanted to mention about that, because this ritual that we don't have in our modern societies nowadays, and men are acting as young boys because they don't know what to do with that energy that they have, right?
Mm, mm,
So because of that, they also are becoming more and more cynical as they get,
mhm,
and
mhm.
then they, because when such certain kind of energies come, they are not able to handle, right?
Cynical in what sense?
Cynical in the sense like there has been some mass shooting here by young adult
Mm,
British men,
mm,
like how you have, like earlier it was not there.
mm,
But nowadays, if you see, there are like so many young men.
mm,
They are just doing this kind of activities which are harmful for themselves and harmful for the societies as well. And
mm,
they are becoming more and more cynical. The society's men are becoming cynical because they
mhm.
don't know how to handle the masculine energy.
Yes, and I think this cynicism is not just a problem for men; it's for women as well today. In fact, all of humanity is suffering from this problem of cynicism. Why? Because of atheism. I think this is a problem not just for man. Anyone who's atheistic falls into this trouble of becoming cynical, because there's no meaning to existence. When you become atheistic, there's no meaning to life. When there's no meaning to anything, you can do anything that you want to do. And so there's no morals, there's no direction, no dharma. And so as soon as you become atheistic, and the wrong kind of thinking you develop, because that's what the Western world is doing, especially in Europe. Uh, they think being educated is not believing in God, but all that education is creating a meaningless existence in your life. Your life has become meaningless because you feel that you are so educated. And so when everything is meaningless, you'll go and do these things like killing people, mass shootings. uh, engaging in harmful acts, violent acts, because violence itself is meaningless to you. Nothing matters. So this kind of cynicism comes from the wrong way of looking at things. Because if you really are atheistic, I mean, if you really are scientific, because most atheistic people are actually scientific people. You have a scientific mindset and you say, oh, God doesn't exist. But if you really are scientific, if you really think scientifically, then you would go into this question that if everything is meaningless, then this statement that I'm making, that things are meaningless, also has no meaning, is something really someone has to think about. People who think they're atheistic, they have to wonder, oh, if everything is meaningless, this statement itself is meaningless. And so when that statement becomes meaningless to you, your cynicism disappears straight away. So if you're really scientific, you will not be cynical. You will actually be spiritual. So I think people are lazy today. They haven't taken the effort to understand what real scientific thinking is. No one's going to become atheistic if you're a scientific mind. However, people think atheism is an educated mindset. No, it's not.
Not at all. I think it's turning men more into like destructing society rather than protecting the society, because the
Yes.
divine masculine's role is more about providing and protection. You know,
Yeah.
here it is kind of reversing the role, and it's almost going into a very bad end where it is
Yeah.
becoming more destructive. So,
Yeah. I think this is a silly problem. This doesn't even have anything to do with masculine or feminine energy. This is just a problem of atheism, of having the wrong mindset. It has nothing to do with males or females. I think both struggle from the same problem.
yes. So now we want to understand more about your other part of your life when you had this meeting with Guruji. What
Mhm.
was the turning point when you met Guruji?
Yeah, look, the background before that was I was against gurus. I felt like there are no real gurus in the world today. Because as a child, I read the Ramayana and I looked at Guru Vashisht, the Guru of Ram. And I looked at the gurus today, and none of them seem to be speaking the right things. Or if they are, they don't seem to be like someone I want to follow because they're not saying something I don't know. I'm aware of whatever they're saying. So I felt like I'm not going to ever follow any guru. That was my frame of mind. And even in that frame of mind, I came across Guruji's video. He was talking about Hanuman. He was talking about the chakras. And I felt like finally someone is saying the right thing. Someone saying something that I can connect to, something that I don't know. So I started looking at him as a teacher. And immediately I sort of had this feeling that I need to meet Guruji. So I found a way to meet him very soon after I first saw him on social media. I did his program very sincerely. And because of my sincerity, Guruji noticed my sincerity and then uh, allowed me to start working with him. And therefore now I'm working for Guruji as an Acharya. So yeah, it was this feeling of, they say in our culture that when you become so desperate, when you have nothing left in your life, when you really need someone to start learning from, the Guru arrives. That's what happened with me. I was at a point in my life when my relationship had ended. I really had no direction, a lot of potential waiting to burst out, but no direction. And I was reaching the age of 30. I was 29, and I felt like, what am I going to do now? Everything has gone away from my life, and that's where I met Guruji, and he's brought me back to feeling divine again, to lose this sense of atheism from my mind, and to start functioning with a whole lot of energy as a man.
Nice. So, you talked about chakras as well. I think Guruji focuses more on foundation of your moola, and
Yes,
you
yeah,
also talked about this, how your
yes,
base should be more about rather than your
yes.
directly up in the.
Yeah. So good you brought it up because these are the two things that really got me hooked to Guruji. One is what you said, his focus on the Moola chakra, the base chakra, not on the Agnya chakra, which everyone thinks is what we have to do as spiritual people. Everyone's focused here. I'm going to focus on my third. I'm going to meditate, and my eyes are going to go there, and I'm going to feel some kind of awakening, and I'm going to become Shiva. That's what I was doing before I met Guruji. For years, I was meditating, and I was feeling heavy here all the time, which was actually not healthy. I felt like I'm working on my Agnya Chakra, but it was not healthy. I was not stable. All my energy here. And so it was Guruji that brought me back to earth. He told me that all this self fulfilling practice that you're doing to focus on your Agnya Chakra is going to lead you nowhere. You have to build your roots at the base chakra. That's where all your energy is. So that was one teaching. And the second teaching that got me hooked to Guruji was about Veerya Labha, about you know him as a guru publicly, honestly talking about how you can channel your sexual energy through Virya Labha. As guys, you can masturbate, but don't waste your semen. This was a revolutionary teaching. No one speaks about this. And I had been doing sort of something like this before I met Guruji. I felt like I had to save my Virya. I didn't waste it. And I had an idea of what this practice is. I'd been doing it on my own. But Guruji made it clear to us what this practice is about, step by step. So Virya Labha and the Mula Chakra, these are the two foundational teachings which got me hooked to Guruji. And these are the two main teachings of the Virya Challenge. This is what I teach in my program.
Yeah. So the Mula means the root chakra, and the Virya Labha is kind of like semen retention or
Yeah, it's not semen retention because semen retention is a very passive process, but Virya Labha is an active process. Okay, semen retention is a Western concept. Okay, it's come from the same teachings of our yogis, but they've turned it into a Western thing called semen retention, where all men are doing is retaining their semen. Uh, so what? What after retaining your semen? So Virya Labha is an active process. It's not just saving your semen; it's channeling it upwards. So we learn to channel that energy to start feeling more and more thunder in our body. We learn to understand that semen is different from virya. Semen is a powerful substance of your body, but by preserving it, what you're doing is building virya. So virya is what we're focused on, not just semen retention. By saving your semen, you're starting to build virya, and now you learn to preserve the virya in your mula chakra. You learn to use that virya whenever you need to get tasks done. So, as a man, what you need to function as is just these two things. Throughout the day, remain in your Mula Chakra, preserve your energy. Whenever you need to do a task, invoke your Virya. Get that task done, drop back into the Mula. Drop back into your base chakra, preserve your energy. Another task arises, invoke your Virya. Drop back into the Mula. That's all. This is the way a man functions, and that's what we're teaching in the Virya challenge. To actually apply, not just have a concept about it. Because right now I'm talking to you about the Mula Chakra, but most people can't feel anything there. They have no idea what the Mula Chakra is. So this is what you learn when you take part in the Virya challenge.
and this Virya challenge is mostly for young men, like aged.
Yes, I would say the Virya challenge is for any man who wants to test whether he has enough Virya. Whether you're young, whether you're old, our page is called Unporn Yourself, but it's also for people who don't watch porn. But I don't watch porn. I've never watched porn. And this Virya challenge is my daily routine. So I want people who think they are spiritual, who think they have a lot of Virya, come and test it out. Take part in these 14 days and see if you have enough Virya. For the young men who are looking for direction, who don't know how to channel their energy, take part in the Vidya challenge. At the end of 14 days, you will know how to function with all that thunder as a man. So I think the Vidya challenge is not just for young men, it's for all men, for any man who wants to build Vidya.
Yes. So I think this also prepares you to also how to take on life's challenges. So
Hmm.
what were your biggest challenges that you faced while learning, and how did
Hmm.
you become better and started overcoming your challenges?
While learning these things, while learning about Vidya and more,
In daily life, like we all are into learning mode. So,
hmm.
or learning under a Gurukulam, how
Hmm.
you started overcoming your challenges, how you face the challenges now as compared to your previous.
Yes, because Guruji taught us to start functioning as divine beings rather than as ordinary human beings. First of all, by building energy in the Mula Chakra, which is the Veerya, you already have way more energy than usual. Then Guruji allows us to channel it. He taught us how to channel it. He taught us to function morally, to think about what is morally right, what is morally wrong. And even before I met Guruji, I had been more or less functioning uh, in the right direction. I didn't take part in all the any bad habits that people around me had, and even if I was with them, I stayed away from it. And so, I guess what I'm trying to say is, when you have Virya, I had a lot of Virya even in my early 20s before meeting Guruji, and it allowed me to do things which are tough. Virya allows you to do things which are hard, which people won't do. It allows you to do the right thing, even though it's very difficult. So, yes, right since my 20s, I was able to do these things which are considered hard, but I felt it's natural for me to do because I had a lot of bursting virya. I had energy preserved inside me. And after meeting Guruji, I was able to channel it in the right direction. That's what happened because of the Gurukulam. Gurukulam allowed me a space, a safe space to channel my energy in the right direction. As a teacher, as someone with a mission, as a to have a great mission, not to be scattered, not to be lost endlessly, to have a good direction. I think that's what Guruji has brought me to do.
Right. So it seems like this Virya, it plays an important role in our life because
Mm,
if we lose it,
mm,
then we don't even have the energy to work towards a dharma. If a person has found what his purpose of life is,
mm,
but if he doesn't has that backup of that energy reservoir, he is not able to fulfill his life's mission as well. So it's a
yes,
very important part to have as well. And
yeah.
people don't understand why it is such a beautiful and important part of their life, but
Mm,
they are busy wasting it on daily basis because
yes.
that's what their their peers are also doing, so they are just busy wasting it.
Yes, I think dharma and virya go together. Having a lot of virya will allow you to find your dharma because you have the energy to find the right direction.
Yeah.
And having the sense of dharma will allow you to build virya because you won't waste it. You won't waste it in the wrong directions. So virya and dharma go hand in hand. Uh, Also in the Vidya challenge, we talk about having a purpose, having dharma, especially as men. It is the job of man to provide dharma. It's the job of the woman to provide Vidya around that dharma. And yes, so I think having a purpose is the ultimate factor in building your Vidya. Don't have a purpose, no dharma. You're never going to have any Vidya. You're not going to function as a warrior.
Can you please tell us a little bit more about how the Gurukulam lifestyle has also brought a self-development inside you?
Right. So, a Gurukul lifestyle is not what people think. We don't live in a Gurukul. We don't all live together as students in a Gurukul uh, because we are still working on that. The Gurukul has just begun in the last 1 year or so. We all have our own homes, but we live close to Guruji and we keep learning from him. A Gurukul is basically where Guruji lives at the moment. And that's where we go and do all our pujas. We go and learn things from Guruji and we work for Guruji basically. What meeting Guruji has done for my life is removed self-doubt because even though I had been practicing a lot of yoga and meditation before meeting Guruji in my 20s, I always doubted myself. I wasn't clear about, am I meant to be this man? Uh, am I meant to work in this field? Whatever spiritual feelings that I have, are they real? I always doubted myself. And what Guruji did was believed in me and changed my mind. He allowed me to believe in myself and to really talk to me as my Swamurti. So he really spoke to me as a divine person. He believed in me, and that removed my doubt from my mind. I became clear in my head that my job in the world in the future is to help as many people as I can, is to work for people and to spread this teaching of Guruji. So Yes, became clear to me that Guruji removed the self-doubt from my head,
Yeah, he gave you mental clarity.
gave me a lot of clarity. Yes.
Nice. So you also mentioned about this Diksha name that you have. Can you also tell us what does Diksha means and what is
Yeah,
the meaning
sure.
of Diksha name?
Sure. So Diksha is a sort of initiation into the Siddha lineage. So when Guruji gives us Diksha, it's like a ritual, and he initiates us into now being Siddhas. So we can start functioning as Siddhas in our life. So when Guruji initiated me and he offered his Diksha to me, uh, I was given the name Mrityunjay,
Mhm.
which is Mrityunjay is just another name of Shiva. Mrityunjay means someone who overcomes Mrityu or death. So that's also one of my missions, which is to always remain young. I've had the same body that I had when I was 21. I've continued to remain young, and it's one of my missions to show the world that what Guruji is teaching about immortality, about Amrita Darshana, is real, is true. It's not a fantasy. It's real. So it's one of my missions as Mrityunjay to prove this fact. And I think Veerya goes a big way in succeeding there, because without Veerya, you won't have the thunder to heal your body. You know how we use Veerya? We have so much Veerya building inside us. Wherever we have pain, if I have a headache, I just breathe that Veerya into my head and the headache goes away in a few seconds. If you have pain in your body, we are able to send the Veerya to that part of the body. Internal organs, you can send Veerya. So having a lot of Veerya allows you to remain young, because you know your body is functioning as a young man's body, uh, ready for Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. So I think Veerya is crucial and to proving my mission as Mrityunjay, as someone who can overcome death, who can remain young. Yes, that's all about what it is.
I had a lot of knowledge received now regarding
Yeah,
Virya and Virya Labha,
yeah,
and I think I need to also work on women's Virya Labha somehow.
yeah. Yeah,
Understand?
we want to come up with a program for that. In fact, I want to add to the last question in this recording that because you asked, Mrityunjay is the name that's been given to me, and the Samurti that I live with is Lakulesh, which is also an interesting thing because Lakulesh is a form of Shiva, it was an avatar of Shiva that arrived uh, thousands of years ago to help Vedavyas on his mission to spread yoga. And Lakulesh, his murti is of a young man, maybe 25 to 30 years old, with long hair. And Lakulesh is shown as someone with an erect phallus, an erect penis. He's standing tall with an erect penis, and which signifies Urdhvaretas. Okay, this is a concept in yoga, from ancient yoga, Pashupati yoga. In fact, Lakulesh was the one who taught Pashupati yoga. And so Urdhva Retas is a concept there where when you learn to channel your sexual energy, you can send it up instead of wasting it down. Urdhva Retas, upward movement of that energy to convert ojas into tejas, convert your base sexual energy into something spiritual, into a shine around you, tejas. And having that samurti, I felt is probably why I'm doing this video challenge to help men, to teach men how to build their sexual energy.
Well, thank you so much, Acharya Samarth. I
Right.
think it was a very beautiful podcast, and I hope that all men in the world find their purpose in life. So, thank you so much for taking up this mission.
Thank you so much.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya. I hope to speak to you again soon.